Have you ever felt that strange little pull? It's the call of the unknown. This feeling has driven explorers for centuries, pushing them to search for answers and connections to the people who came before us. We want to peel back the layers of time. Imagine an entire city sleeping beneath your feet. These places are time capsules, waiting to tell their stories. What happened to these civilizations? These lost cities are the ultimate puzzles scattered across the globe. The thrill of discovery is unlike anything else. You are bridging the gap between their world and ours. This is the magic we're chasing. We're answering that call of the unknown, one lost city at a time. Sometimes the first clue isn't found in the ground, it's carried on the wind. It's a whisper, a local legend, a story passed down from one generation to the next. These tales often speak of cities of gold or sleeping giants hidden in the mountains. For a long time, many of these stories were dismissed as simple myths or folklore. They were seen as fanciful tales told around a campfire. But what if they were more than that? What if these legends were actually fragmented memories? What if they were echoes of a real place, a real history, distorted by the passage of time? Every great expedition begins with a lead. It might be a cryptic line in an ancient text. It could be an old hand-drawn map that doesn't quite match modern geography. Or it could be a story from a village elder who points to a forbidden valley and speaks of the old ones. These whispers are the breadcrumbs that lead us to the doorstep of history. They are the starting point for some of the most incredible archaeological discoveries ever made. They remind us that history isn't just written in books, it's alive in the stories people tell. It's our job to listen carefully. Consider the stories of cities swallowed by the jungle. For centuries, explorers heard tales of grand stone temples and sprawling palaces hidden beneath a suffocating canopy of green. People called them crazy. They said no civilization could have thrived in such a hostile environment. But the whispers persisted. These stories fueled the imaginations of adventurers who were willing to risk everything. They faced snakes, disease, and impenetrable terrain, all for the chance that the stories were true. And time again, these brave individuals have proven that where there is smoke, there is often fire, or in this case, a lost city. So we listen. We listen to the wind, to the local storytellers, and to the faint echoes of the past. We treat these legends not as fiction, but as a different kind of historical record. It's a record that is messier, less precise, but full of passion and humanity. These whispers are the ghosts of lost worlds calling out to us. They are invitations to look closer, to question what we think we know, and to venture into the blank spaces on the map. Our journey is guided by these spectral signposts, leading us towards secrets that have been waiting patiently to be heard. When we finally find one of these lost cities, it's like opening a blueprint of a vanished world. It's more than just crumbling walls and broken pottery. It's a complete diagram of how people lived. The layout of the city streets tells us about their social structure. Wide, grand boulevards leading to a central temple might suggest a society centered around religion and power. A web of smaller, interconnected alleys could point to a community focused on trade and close-knit neighborhoods. Every stone, every pathway has a purpose. We just need to learn how to read the plans. The architecture itself is a testament to incredible ingenuity. How did ancient people, without modern machinery, build such monumental structures? How did they quarry massive stones, transport them for miles, and lift them into place with such precision? Machu Picchu, perched on a razor-sharp mountain ridge, is a perfect example. Its stones are cut so perfectly that you can't even slide a knife blade between them. What kind of engineering knowledge did the Inca possess? These structures aren't just beautiful. They are masterpieces of physics, mathematics, and sheer human determination. They are a challenge to our modern assumptions about the past. Beyond the grand temples and palaces, we find the details of daily life. We uncover kitchens with hearths still blackened by ancient fires. We find workshops where artisans crafted tools and jewelry. We find homes, big and small, that give us a glimpse into family life. These are the places where ordinary people lived out their lives. Finding a child's toy, a simple clay doll, or a game board etched into a stone step is profoundly moving. It collapses the immense distance of time and reminds us that these were real people, with hopes, fears and families, just like us. By studying these blueprints, we can start to piece together the story of the city's rise and, ultimately, its fall. We can see evidence of their innovations, like complex irrigation systems that turned deserts into gardens. We can also see the signs of their downfall. Were they conquered by invaders? Did they suffer from a catastrophic natural disaster? Or did their society simply crumble from within due to climate change or resource depletion? The answers to these questions are not just about the past. They are powerful lessons that are incredibly relevant to our own civilization today. So, are you ready? Are you ready to step out of the familiar and into the world of the lost? This is not just a journey through dusty ruins. It is a journey through time itself. We are going to peel back the layers of history, mystery, and legend. We will walk in the footsteps of ancient peoples and modern-day explorers. We will feel the heat of the Pompeian sun on our faces, just moments before the eruption. We will breathe the thin, crisp air of the Andes as we uncover the secrets of Machu Picchu. This is an invitation to become a part of the expedition. Our mission is to explore these forgotten realms and bring their stories back to life. We will investigate the clues, follow the evidence, and try to solve some of the greatest mysteries in human history. We will look at the grand achievements of these cultures, from the celestial alignments of their temples to the intricate beauty of their art, but we will also look at the human element. What was it like to live in these incredible places? What did they believe in? What were their greatest triumphs and their most devastating failures? Forget what you think you know from textbooks. History is not a dry collection of dates and names. It is a thrilling, dynamic, and often shocking story. It's a story filled with genius, ambition, disaster, and resilience. The cities we will explore are the main characters in this epic tale. Each one has a unique personality, a distinct voice. From the sprawling temple complexes of Angkor to the very cradle of civilization in Ur, these cities have so much to teach us about where we came from and perhaps where we are going. So grab your gear, pack your sense of wonder. The adventure is about to begin. Together we will travel to the far corners of the earth. We will dig for truth, uncover lost worlds, and ask the big questions. What lies beneath the sands of time and the canopy of the jungle? What secrets are waiting to be told? Join me as we embark on an expedition into the heart of mystery. The untold stories of these lost cities are calling to us, and we are ready to answer. Let's go. Our first destination is on the sunny coast of Italy, the city of Pompeii. It wasn't lost to the slow decay of time, but flash frozen. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted. It unleashed ash that buried Pompeii completely. This tragedy created an archaeological miracle, preserving a bustling Roman city. The thick layers of volcanic ash acted like a protective blanket, creating a perfect snapshot of Roman life. It's a time capsule on an unbelievable scale. They found loaves of bread still in the ovens. This level of preservation is unheard of. It's history as a lived experience. The silence of the ruins is deafening. Let's rewind. Before the ash, Pompeii thrived as a resort town for wealthy Romans. Picture a warm summer morning. The streets buzz with merchants selling fresh fish, fruits and fabrics in the forum. Bakeries fill the air with the smell of bread. Children play in the alleyways. It was a normal day in a city that valued art, food and social connection. Pompeii was a prosperous port city, integrated into the Roman Empire, but there were warnings they didn't understand. Earthquakes were common, and a major quake had caused damage years prior. They didn't connect the tremors to the mountain overlooking their city. It was a minor inconvenience in their idyllic world. Noon brought disaster. Mount Vesuvius erupted with a deafening roar. A towering column of ash and pumice blotted out the sun, plunging Pompeii into darkness. Panic swept the city as pumice stones and hot ash rained down, collapsing roofs and choking the air. Desperate families fled through debris-filled streets, many separated or trapped. Toxic gases and relentless fallout made escape nearly impossible. By morning, pyroclastic surges swept through, instantly ending all life in the city. Pompeii vanished beneath ash, sealed away for nearly 2 millennia. For centuries, Pompeii slept beneath ash. its memory fading into legend. Rediscovered by accident, its excavation revealed a city frozen in time. Archaeologists painstakingly pieced together daily life from pottery, mosaics, and carbonized remains. Fiorelli's plaster casts captured Pompeians' final moments, haunting, human, real. Modern technology continues to unlock secrets, diets, diseases, even ancient jokes scrawled on walls. Pompeii remains a living investigation, each discovery bringing its lost world back to life. The plaster casts give faces to Pompeii's tragedy. Families huddled, a dog chained, lives interrupted. Everyday objects, surgeons' tools, garum workshops reveal skills and tastes. Graffiti immortalizes love, gossip and humor, echoing across centuries. These fragments transform ruins into a vibrant, relatable community. By piecing together casts, artifacts and messages, we connect with real people, not just a lost city. The ash preserved their voices. Our task is to listen and remember. Pompeii's story endures as a timeless lesson in humanity. We journey to the Andes to Machu Picchu, a city hidden in mist, untouched by conquerors. Perched on a mountain ridge, it's an architectural marvel, blending seamlessly with the landscape. Hiram Bingham's 1911 discovery revealed a city preserved in mystery. Why build here? Not a capital, not a fortress. Its purpose remains enigmatic. Theories abound, sacred center, royal retreat, or something more. To understand, we must study the stones and their dialogue with the mountains. Machu Picchu's secrets are carved into its very foundations. Machu Picchu rises in tiers, connected by thousands of stone steps. Terraces, homes, and sacred spaces guide visitors on a spiritual ascent. The Intihuatana stone and Temple of the Sun align with celestial events, reflecting Inca mastery of astronomy. Architecture and landscape merge. Buildings echo mountain shapes, sacredness woven into stone. The city is a cosmic instrument, tracking the heavens and honoring the sun god Inti. Every structure serves both practical and spiritual purposes. Machu Picchu is a stairway uniting earth, sky, and the divine. Machu Picchu was likely a royal estate for Emperor Pachacuti, a secluded palace in the clouds. Its layout reveals social hierarchy, royal residences, noble quarters, and staff dwellings. Life here was luxurious, filled with rituals, feasts, and political gatherings. Only a select few lived here seasonally. When the emperor left, silence returned. Its exclusivity and isolation explain how it was forgotten after the empire's fall. Machu Picchu remains a testament to Inca ingenuity, power, and mystery. Perhaps the greatest mystery of Machu Picchu is not why it was built, but how. The Inca had no iron tools, no wheels, and no written language. Yet they created one of the most spectacular and durable structures on Earth. Their skill in stonemasonry is legendary. They used a technique called ashlar, where they cut stones so precisely that they fit together without any mortar. The joints are so tight that you can't even slip a piece of paper between them. This made their buildings incredibly stable, which was essential in an earthquake-prone region. When the ground shakes, the stones are said to dance and then settle back into place. The sheer logistics of the construction are mind-boggling. The granite used for the buildings was quarried right from the mountain, but how did they cut it so perfectly? They likely used a painstaking process of pounding the rock with harder stones and then smoothing it with sand and water. To move the massive blocks, some weighing over 50 tons, they would have used hundreds of men, along with ropes, rollers, and earthen ramps. It was a triumph of human labor, organization, and incredible patience. Every single stone was a testament to their collective will and engineering prowess. But their genius wasn't limited to the walls. What lies beneath Machu Picchu is just as impressive. To build a stable city on a steep, rainy mountain ridge, the Inca first had to create a solid foundation. Modern researchers have discovered that about 60% of the construction at Machu Picchu is actually underground. They built a deep foundation of crushed rock and gravel to ensure proper drainage. They also constructed a complex system of channels and fountains that collected rainwater and spring water, distributing it throughout the city. This brilliant water management system prevented erosion and landslides, preserving the city for over 500 years. The agricultural terraces are another engineering marvel. They weren't just for creating flat ground to plant crops like corn and potatoes. Each terrace was a sophisticated system. The bottom layer was made of large stones for drainage, followed by layers of gravel, sand, and finally, rich topsoil that was likely carried up from the fertile river valley below. This design prevented the soil from washing away in the heavy rains and also helped to absorb heat from the sun during the day, releasing it at night to protect the plant roots from frost. It was a brilliant, sustainable solution to high-altitude farming. For less than a century, Machu Picchu served as a vibrant royal estate. It was really a testament to the power and ingenuity of the Inca Empire at its absolute peak. But then, sometime in the early 1530s, everything changed. The Spanish conquistadors, led by Francisco Pizarro, arrived in South America. They brought with them steel weapons, horses, and most devastatingly diseases like smallpox, to which the native population had absolutely no immunity. The Inca Empire, already weakened by a brutal civil war between two royal brothers, began to crumble in the face of this new threat. While the Spanish never actually found Machu Picchu, the effects of their conquest certainly reached it. The intricate network of roads and supply chains that supported the estate would have been disrupted. The royal family and the nobles who used the retreat were either killed, captured, or engaged in a desperate guerrilla war against the invaders. The very reason for Machu Picchu's existence, to serve a powerful, stable empire, was gone. There was no longer an emperor to retreat there, no court to entertain, and no state to supply it. Its purpose simply evaporated into the thin mountain air. Archaeological evidence suggests that the abandonment of Machu Picchu was a gradual, orderly process. There are no signs of a battle or a destructive event. It seems the residents simply packed up and left. Perhaps they were recalled to fight in the resistance, or maybe they left to find safer, more sustainable places to live as the empire collapsed around them. They left behind a city that was almost complete, a pristine ghost town. They carefully closed the doors, put out the fires, and walked away, letting the jungle slowly begin its work of reclaiming the stone city. And so, a sudden silence fell over Machu Picchu. The voices and footsteps that once filled its plazas and temples faded away. The gardens grew wild, and vines began to creep over the perfectly cut stones. For nearly 400 years the city slept, its existence a secret whispered among the local communities. It became a true lost city, a stunning memorial to a brilliant civilization that was brought down not by any failure of its own, but by a collision with another world. The silence of Machu Picchu speaks volumes, telling a powerful story of genius, beauty, and tragic sudden loss. Our expedition takes us to the jungles of modern-day Cambodia. We're searching for Angkor, a sprawling metropolis and capital of the mighty Khmer Empire. For centuries, this colossal city lay hidden, choked by a relentless jungle. The Khmer Empire dominated Southeast Asia for over 600 years. At its peak, Angkor was the largest pre-industrial urban complex in the world. They built temples to match their divine ambitions, a symbolic representation of the Hindu cosmos. The rediscovery of Angkor was a revelation. Enormous tree roots snaked over temple walls in a strange, beautiful embrace. Our journey into Angkor is a journey into the heart of this lost empire. Why was this immense city ultimately abandoned? What caused an empire to let the jungle reclaim it? The soul of Angkor lies in its temples, and none is more famous than the breathtaking Angkor Wat, the largest religious monument ever built. Constructed in the 12th century, it was designed as a microcosm of the Hindu universe. The 5 towers represent the peaks of Mount Meru, the mythical home of the gods. The walls are covered in intricate bas-relief carvings, epic stories carved in stone. Nearby lies Angkor Thom, with the enigmatic Bayon Temple at its center. Giant serene faces gaze out from every direction. These temples were the center of Khmer life, the physical manifestation of the king's power and his connection to the gods. For the Khmer, there was no separation between religion, politics, and the universe. Their temples were the anchors that held their world together. While the stone temples are Angkor's most visible legacy, its true power source was something far more fundamental: water. The Khmer were absolute masters of water management or hydrology. They built a vast and incredibly sophisticated network of canals, reservoirs, and moats that transformed the Cambodian plains. This system was the lifeblood of the empire. It wasn't just for providing drinking water or for the symbolic moats around the temples. It was a massive irrigation engine that allowed them to control the seasonal monsoons, the cycle of intense rain, followed by a long, dry season that defines this region's climate. The scale of this engineering is, honestly, hard to comprehend. They constructed enormous reservoirs, known as barrays, some of which were several miles long. The West Barray, for example, is a man-made body of water measuring 5 miles by 1.5 miles. These weren't just dug-out ponds. They were complex engineering projects with dams, dikes, and outlets designed to store millions of gallons of monsoon rainwater. This stored water was then systematically released during the dry season through a web of canals that irrigated the surrounding rice paddies. This system was the key to their incredible success and prosperity. This mastery of water gave the Khmer Empire a huge advantage. While other civilizations might manage one rice harvest a year, the Angkorian irrigation system allowed for 2 or even 3 harvests. This created a massive surplus of food. This surplus could support a huge population, including the thousands of laborers needed to build the temples, the priests who ran them, and the massive army that defended and expanded the empire. Food was power, and the Khmer had more of it than anyone else in the region. Their control over water was the foundation upon which their entire golden age was built. But this complex system was also a potential weakness. It required constant maintenance, a strong central government to manage it, and a stable climate to function properly. The entire city, with its hundreds of thousands of inhabitants, was completely dependent on this man-made water world. If the system were to fail, whether through neglect, invasion, or a sudden change in the climate, the consequences would be catastrophic. The very source of Angkor's strength was also its greatest vulnerability. It was a high-stakes gamble against nature, and for centuries the Khmer won. But the game couldn't last forever. We once saw Angkor as scattered temples, missing the city around them. LiDAR technology has changed our understanding, revealing a sprawling metropolis beneath the jungle. It was a city of wood, with house mounds, ponds, and a vast road grid. Hundreds of thousands of ordinary people called it home. LiDAR shows us their organized world, connected by roads and canals. It was a bustling city in the shadow of great temples. The heart was the flow of people and goods via canals and roads. Angkor was a dynamic urban environment, but its managed landscape may have been fragile. The end of Angkor was not a single dramatic event like the eruption that buried Pompeii. It was a long, slow decline, a gradual fading of a once great power over several decades in the 14th and 15th centuries. There was no single cause, but rather a perfect storm of converging problems. One major factor was environmental stress. After centuries of intensive farming and deforestation, the delicate balance the Khmer had created began to falter. The elaborate water management system, so essential to their survival, started to break down under the strain. New climate data, gathered from tree rings in the region, suggests that Angkor was hit by a series of prolonged and severe droughts, followed by periods of intense, destructive monsoons. This extreme weather would have been devastating for their water system. The droughts would have dried up the reservoirs, leading to crop failure and food shortages. The massive floods that followed would have overwhelmed the canals and dams, causing catastrophic damage to the infrastructure. The system that was designed to manage a predictable climate was simply no match for this new, volatile weather pattern. The heart of the empire was having a heart attack. At the same time, the Khmer Empire was facing external threats. The rising power of neighboring kingdoms, particularly the Siamese kingdom of Ayutthaya to the west, put increasing military pressure on Angkor. There were a series of wars and invasions, with Ayutthaya sacking the great city in 1431. While this was once seen as the final blow, we now believe it was more of a symptom of Angkor's existing weakness. An empire struggling with internal problems like famine and a failing infrastructure is an easy target for ambitious neighbors. The political and military landscape was changing, and Angkor was losing its dominant position. Finally, there was a shift in ideas. A new, more personal form of Buddhism, Theravada Buddhism, was spreading throughout the region. This faith did not require massive temple mountains or god kings. It was focused on individual enlightenment. This ideological shift may have undermined the very foundation of the Khmer king's authority and the massive state-sponsored religious projects that defined Angkor. The people and even the rulers may have simply lost the will to maintain the old system. Faced with environmental collapse, military pressure, and a crisis of faith, the Khmer elite made a strategic decision. They moved their capital south, closer to the coast and better trade routes, leaving their magnificent ancestral home to the jungle. The giant simply faded away. We're heading to southern Iraq, known as Mesopotamia. This is the land between the Tigris and Euphrates where civilization began. Beneath these sands lies Ur, one of the first true cities. Imagine a world without cities, writing, or laws. 6,000 years ago, people gathered here, farming the land and building settlements. Ur grew into a powerful city-state. For millennia, Ur was a name in ancient texts. Excavating Tel el-Muqayya revealed the foundations of our civilization. We're looking for the origins of our way of life. The Sumerians gave us the wheel, writing, and legal codes. We explore the dawn of civilization. So, dominating the landscape, the Great Ziggurat of Ur was a testament to the city's power and faith. This massive stepped platform of mud brick was designed to reach the heavens. At its summit, a temple honored Nana, the Sumerian god of the moon. The ziggurat was the religious and political center connecting gods and people. Constructed around 2100 BC by King Ur-Nammu, it marked Ur's peak of power. Built to inspire awe, the ziggurat was the center of their spiritual world. It was also the hub of the city's economy, the central bank, administrative office, and spiritual core. The ziggurat was the anchor of their civilization, the heartbeat of Ur. Beyond the ziggurat, a vibrant city bustled with life. Decades of excavation reveal Ur's layout. Narrow streets and two-story courtyard houses designed for the desert climate. The Sumerians invented writing, cuneiform, pressing wedge-shaped marks into clay tablets. Thousands found at Ur document everyday life, marriage contracts, business receipts, and even school tablets. Ur was a major trade center, connecting Mesopotamia with distant civilizations. Artisans crafted jewelry, furniture, and musical instruments. The markets teemed with goods from around the world. Society was stratified from the king to slaves, reflected in the city's layout. This social organization was one of the Sumerians' greatest innovations. One of the most spectacular discoveries at Ur came from a part of the city that predates the Great Ziggurat. In the 1920s, the archaeologist Sir Leonard Woolley uncovered a vast cemetery. Among them, he found 16 incredibly lavish tombs filled with treasures of gold, silver, and precious stones. These were the royal tombs of Ur, dating back to around 2600 BC. The wealth and craftsmanship revealed a side of Sumerian culture that was far more opulent and complex than anyone had ever imagined. But the tombs held a much darker secret. The main burial chambers were surrounded by dozens of bodies of the royal court. The evidence suggests they had willingly drunk poison as part of a massive ceremony of ritual sacrifice. The royal tombs of Ur give us a powerful, if disturbing, glimpse into the Sumerian conception of death and the afterlife. Ur's downfall was a long, slow process. After its glory days, the city's power waned. While it remained an important religious center, its political and economic influence faded. Ur slowly became a shadow of its former glory. The city's existence depended on the Tigris and the Euphrates. Over centuries, the Euphrates River shifted eastward, moving away from the city. Drought and silting canals made agriculture difficult. The once fertile fields turned into barren desert. The remaining inhabitants left, seeking new homes. The great city of Ur was left empty. The desert reclaimed what it had once given. The story of Ur shows us that even the mightiest civilizations are dependent on their environment. The secrets of our beginnings are still waiting to be found. We've explored cities frozen in ash, citadels in the clouds, and metropolises swallowed by the jungle. Now we venture into myth, hunting for Atlantis. The holy grail of lost cities, it has captivated dreamers for millennia. Unlike other sites, Atlantis comes to us from Plato, who described a powerful island civilization beyond the Pillars of Hercules. Destroyed as punishment from the gods, it vanished beneath the waves. Was Atlantis real or a cautionary tale? Let's dive in and examine the story. Let's look at the blueprint. Our only real guide to Atlantis comes from two of Plato's dialogues, Timaeus and Critias, written around 360 BC. He tells us that Atlantis was a circular island with a magnificent capital city, also circular, built on concentric rings of land and water connected by canals. The city Plato describes is a marvel of engineering and opulence. The island was home to a diverse range of animals, including elephants. It sounds like a perfect paradise. They were descended from Poseidon, and for generations they lived in harmony. Greed and arrogance began to take hold, launching an unprovoked attack. There were violent earthquakes and floods, and the island of Atlantis was swallowed by the sea and disappeared. The story ends there, a stark warning. For most of history, scholars considered Plato's Atlantis a story, an allegory. But in the late 19th century, that started to change with Ignatius Donnelly's book. It revived Atlantis as a real place, the mother culture to ancient civilizations. Since then, the hunt for Atlantis has become a global obsession, attracting researchers and fringe theorists. The Bimini Road was once thought to be an Atlantean highway. Others point to Mayan ruins or Easter Island statues as evidence. Plato's clues are specific, yet vague. Beyond the Pillars of Hercules, leading people to look almost everywhere, every new underwater ruin found, the Atlantis theory gets a new lease on life. The hunt is complicated by misinformation. It's a modern myth, a canvas for hopes and fears. Sifting through fantasy is a challenge. The truth is buried under speculation. While a continent sinking seems unlikely, many believe Plato's story was inspired by a real catastrophe. The Minoan civilization, flourishing on Crete, is a leading candidate. The nearby island of Thera Santorini experienced a massive volcanic eruption around 1600 BC. This eruption, one of history's largest, devastated Crete with tsunamis and ash clouds. The parallels to Plato's story are striking. An advanced island civilization destroyed by earthquakes and water. The Minoan city of Akrotiri, buried by the eruption, reveals a sophisticated Bronze Age society. This real, terrifying event could be the origin of the Atlantis myth. Atlantis may not be in the Atlantic, but its ghost might reside in the Aegean Sea. Have we found Atlantis? No credible evidence suggests a super-civilization existed in the Atlantic. Plato's story is likely a philosophical allegory. The search for Atlantis tells us more about ourselves. It speaks to a deep human desire to believe in a lost paradise. It's also a cautionary tale about unchecked power. We should never stop asking, what if? The world is full of surprises, and our oceans still hold many secrets. Atlantis will never truly be lost because it represents that fundamental human spirit of curiosity and wonder. We will always be searching for Atlantis. Our expedition has taken us across the globe and through the very heart of history. We have walked the streets of a Roman city frozen in ash, climbed to a royal Incan retreat in the clouds, and navigated the sprawling jungle metropolis of the Khmer Empire. Each of these lost cities tells a piece of the same epic story, the story of human ambition, ingenuity, and the relentless struggle against the forces of time and nature. These places are more than just ruins. They are powerful echoes of vanished worlds, reminding us of where we came from. We are connecting with the people who lived there. They are a mirror in which we can see our own triumphs and our own vulnerabilities reflected back at us. The Sumerians of Ur gave us the foundations of writing and law. The engineers of Machu Picchu demonstrated a mastery of their environment. We become the custodians of their stories, ensuring they are not forgotten. They teach us about resilience, about the incredible things humans can achieve when they work together. Their echo is a lesson, a warning, and an inspiration. Our journey has shown us just how much we still don't know. Every discovery opens new questions. Every solved mystery reveals a deeper puzzle. These lost cities guard profound secrets, and the work is far from over. The unanswered questions fuel the next expedition, pushing the boundaries of what we know. Consider the great enigmas. At Machu Picchu, how did the Inca cut and transport those massive stones? At Angkor, what led to its decline? Climate change, political strife, or a shift in religious belief? The line between history and myth is often blurry, and in that murky space, the most tantalizing questions lie waiting. These questions are a sign of how rich and complex our shared history is. We have only just begun to scratch the surface of its story. Every lost city is a chapter in a book with missing pages. The thrill is in the hunt. The story of humanity is far grander and more mysterious than we often imagine. History is not a closed book. New chapters are being discovered all the time. The adventure is not over. Right now, there are other lost cities sleeping beneath the sands, hidden in the jungles, or submerged beneath the waves. The call of the unknown is as loud and clear as ever. New technologies are giving us superpowers. LiDAR is peeling back the jungle canopy. Ground-penetrating radar is allowing us to see beneath the earth. This spirit of exploration is for everyone. All it takes is a sense of wonder, with asking questions, with visiting a museum, with reading a book. Our expedition ends here for now, but the journey never truly stops. They challenge us, they inspire us, and they dare us to keep searching. Thank you for joining me. Now get out there.